Hello everyone, my name is Rukia Turdush and I'm an Uyghur human rights activist. The Chinese government recently published an English subtitled video about violent Uyghurs, and many people believe this violence drives China's coercive policy against the Uyghurs. And I have received so many questions through YouTube and Twitter. People ask me what is Uyghurs' response and what do you want to say about that. So I would like to answer some questions here today. First of all, China's extreme human rights violations against Uyghurs are inconsistent with the concept of counterterrorism. It's ridiculous to target entire population with the excuse of counterterrorism and put 1 to 3 million Uyghurs and other Turkic Muslims in concentration camps for torture and remove 500,000 Uyghur kids from their homes to China's orphanage camps to erode their biological roots and sending so many population to forced labor. This, along with the destroying mosques, banning Islam, forcing people to denounce Islam, forcing them to give an oath to believe in the Chinese Communist Party, forcing them to eat pork, and forcing Uyghur women marry with Han Chinese men. All of this is counterterrorism. It's absolutely insane. I just read one article here. It was written by Matthew Robertson. He's a PhD student in Australian National University, and his article he mentioned something very interesting. He said that according to New York Times leaked files on Xi Jinping's secret speech titled Absolute No Mercy was given in 2014. And however, the statement of few Uyghurs who joined in ISIS or Al-Qaeda threatening China published between 2015 and 2016. So there is a almost 2 years gap. The matter questioned how Xi Jinping and the Chinese government decided to resolve the Uyghur question and responding to an event that took place in the future. Exactly. How could they know the threat before it posed? It's very clear that China's recent coercive policy is not driven by some violent threats. In fact, China's intention of destroying the people of East Turkestan was planned before China colonized East Turkestan. For example, it was mentioned in Sun Yat-sen, the China's founding father Sun Yat-sen's reconstruction of China in 1921, and the Mao Zedong's essays in 1939 as well. They all say that we have to annex those border territories and assimilate all non-Chinese people into ethnic Han Chinese. Those territories are East Turkestan, Tibet, and the Mongolia. But you may be asked the question that the oppression has never been this horrible since the Chinese invasion. Is that this horrible? It's true. The oppression has not been this horrible like today. But systematic and harsh oppression must exist, just the world didn't know before. And they didn't implement the genocidal policy at that time because China was weak. Following the China's rising and China became powerful, and they waited the opportunity. They think opportunity is come, and because they slowly created preconditions for genocidal oppression against the Uyghurs, so they implemented genocidal policy right now because they have always seen existence of people of East Turkestan as a threat for them because of their distinct race, religion, and culture. And another question I have received in here. China depicting its extreme human rights violation in East Turkestan as a counterterrorism campaign by repeatedly bringing up several individual events of Uyghur violence and the list of bombings. As an Uyghur, what is your opinion on this? Okay, what is my opinion? I'm not totally denying that there is no any violent resistance of Uyghurs. It's very normal to resist violently when there is no way to peacefully express your rights, right? When you are oppressed, with your family members are arrested and for no reason, and with your children taken away, and your daughter or your wife are raped, your house are destroyed. Of course, you will want revenge. But Uyghurs know very well that they are all alone and the world does not support them if they use violence. In 2001, I visited East Turkestan, and at that time I secretly spoke with many Uyghurs, and all of them are very disappointed that the United States put ETIM, the East Turkestan Islamic Movement group that created outside of East Turkestan and outside of China in terrorist list at that time. They were upset, but they understood very well that using violence is not a helpful strategy for them. So I don't believe many of those violent acts is even conducted by Uyghurs. The Chinese government may have created fake evidences and fake scenes. We never know, because the Chinese government is very good with it. They always force people to give false statements and false confession, and I have witnessed many of such things when I was in Urumqi. Even if some of the violence are conducted by Uyghur individuals, it can't be justification of mass arrest of 3 million people, nor the mass surveillance and the control of entire population by collecting DNA samples and the blood types of them, and for biological biotechnology experimentation. When that kind of individual violence, for example, those kind of individual violence conducted by a Chinese man, it was never been defined as terrorism. For example, I remember in 2008, a Chinese man named Yang Jia attacked a police station in Shanghai and killed 6 police. In 2009, Xia Junfeng, a street vendor, stabbed to death 2 urban enforcement officers. The Chinese public actually admired those defendants and online. And there's just so many those kind of individual violent acts among Chinese people as well. And I don't want to say here they did right thing, but when it comes to Uyghurs, things are seen as totally different. Uyghur women who even verbally refuse to marry with Han Chinese man right now is considered a person who has ideological problem, and her whole family would be threatened with detention to concentration camps. So what China claiming is totally baseless. And I would like to answer one more question here. How China has effectively manipulated counterterrorism? Good question. China effectively has manipulated the global war on terrorism, creating an excuse for eliminating Uyghurs and other Muslims in East Turkestan. At first, they intensified oppression and forced some Uyghurs to illegally escape from the border. They know these Uyghurs do not have passports and are very vulnerable to the recruitment of some jihadi groups, so they can use them as an excuse for the harsher oppression of Uyghurs. And they did this exactly. And besides that, China has not allowed an independent investigation in East Turkestan. They strictly control the information flow, manage it, and brainwash the public opinion in many countries about the Uyghur issues. And in this way, they effectively managed the counterterrorism, manipulated counterterrorism. So these are the questions I would like to answer today. And if you have any question, please feel free to send to me, and I'll be here to answer all of your questions. Thank you.